I have the option to do my hair anywhere in this world, and so I decided I was going to come outside and do it here. Look at this cool bonsai with this little mini tree, and it's look at this mini tree with its buds. So cute. Okay, when I sit this way, the sun is totally in my eyes. I can't handle it. How about this one? Put you right in the plant. Oh, it won't work because you won't have anything to stay on. Let's see. It's because I didn't bring a tripod. I was like, I'll just do it with my hand. Do 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 do. Whatever. We're just gonna be fussing with it the whole time because I'm gonna use the shea butter to hold the phone, and then when I need the shea butter, I'll use the water to hold the phone. I feel like sharing my practice, and the problem that I've always had before was that everything is like a circle, so where do you jump on? So let's just start with this water. I bless my water before I drink it. I love you, water. I hope it'll be nourishing and healthy for all my cells when they come in contact with any one of the molecules. Oh man, I was so thirsty. Is that little guy in there? Okay. I wanted him to be in here. He wanted to be in the shot. Buddha Frog said he wants to be in the shot too. Yes, they tell me these things. Oh. You know today's a full moon? Oh my goodness, I washed my face and now I need grease all over it. And you saw that I was thirsty. I'm gonna take this off. I don't think I want to wear this. It's nice out, and so the skin was like, yo, can you show me to the sun? Like I said, I just washed my face, and it feels very dry. And you guys saw that I'm dehydrated. I just drank that water in 1 second. This is shea butter. I came here to do my hair. We'll start with that. So yeah, before I drink my water, I bless it. Thank water for being here, coming to this planet. I tell it I love it. And that I am so happy it's going to nourish and hydrate all my cells. Wow, this goes into something I've been doing lately. Earlier this week, I got into a deep dive on YouTube. I saw a thing and they were like, Jesus is a scene, a 20-minute video. And I was like, I'm right there. I need to see this. So then I watched. It turns out it's from a longer podcast. And I went to watch that too. Afterwards, I had to watch that also. Check out what happened to my hair. Yeah, I'm going to be bouncing into the philosophy and into real life because that's how I am right now. I'm not gonna, it's just because that's how I am. My down blanket kind of exploded. The dog likes to get on top of a blanket and like spin around in a circle and try to get the blanket all up around him, but sometimes he'll tear a blanket that way. And I know that one was already torn. I'm not blaming you. He gave me a look like, are you blaming me for that? No, I'd already had a little tear in it. Anyways, the down blanket's exploding feathers in my bedroom. It's starting to look like a Even when I just tried to move it out of the way because it was turning into a mess, it started to look like one of those sitcom pillow fights with feathers everywhere. Almost that bad, I'm kidding. But it's all over my hair, as you can see. And I thought this beautiful wooden comb might help, but we'll see. Maybe I'll have to get a brush. My dad just got me this comb. And something about me feeling all holistic is like, I think this comb will be great. So I'm trying it. Again. The verdict is still out, but I enjoy it. It's helping me feel connected to nature to use a piece of wood on my hair. So I'm watching this podcast about the Essene, and I had already done like a little Wikipedia search and things like that, so I had already tried to discover what I could beforehand. And he was talking about, well, he sounds like a yogi, and which is funny because when you go to yoga teacher training, they tell you Jesus was a yogi. The Essene actually even became Buddhist too, the way the Hindus became Buddhist and the way other religions started accepting Buddhist practices. Oh, and what they were saying was about this Essene gospel was that Jesus, people asked him how to be healthy. So the Essene were mystics in the group. They're Pharisees and Sadducees, and there are the Essene, and the three of them live in the same area. And they are a racial minority, they are an ethnic minority, and religious heretics because they believe in the Bible of Enoch more than they believe in the Bible of Abraham. And so since they follow Enoch and not Abraham, they diverge and become heretics in the community. So they get relegated to the Qumran Desert. You're like, yeah, well, if you guys live on the outskirts and stuff, then obviously we won't kill you. But when people would go into town dressed white like an Essene, they would get stoned. So I think as the story is going, the Essene had a plan actually to live in their dharma, their purity, their rules, which they knew were God's rules, so much that they would be able to produce somebody in their community who was basically pure, who would really be the embodiment of those teachings. And he comes, he gets taught, he'd recognize Young as a prodigy, and he is taught. And then when he comes, and then the next parts of his service to the Essene group is that you would become an initiate, you would become a monk, you would become a person in the community who preaches and lives this life. So that's what he's doing. It's literally just a natural stage in his life that he gets to the age of 33 or this stage. He's already done some initiations, and he has to preach. It is his job to serve his community. It turns out the Essene are mystics. They lay hands. They heal people. They are vegetarians. They have like basically a higher vibe as a whole community, and they use that to heal people in the community. So I'm sure they were where you went when you were sick. And as he becomes a grown man, it makes sense. So I know he just walked out and was like, what are they going to do? Stone me for loving God? Are they going to kill me for loving God and speaking God's truth? Because if they do, that's just crazy. And if so, I'm sure that God has a plan for me in doing so. Talk about the ultimate acceptance. But also the acceptance of your dharma of like, yo, it is way more important that I share this news about God and these rules and observations and practices that we have learned over time that will make us healthy. In the book of the Essene, people were asking, how do we be healthy? And he said things that sound like the air. Pray to the angel of the air. That sounds like pranayama and other kinds of breath work. They said pray to water, bathe, so that you don't carry germs everywhere on you and then carry them other places and cross-contaminate your life. What else did they say? Don't eat meat, because in that time, the meat was definitely not clean, and you could get parasites very easily. He was also telling them, I think he could see that a lot of these people who were sick, they were talking about being sick and not having their vigor and stuff like that, like other people. So they do sound like there's a parasite situation. Coconut oil? I mean, I'm loving the shea butter. Sometimes the coconut's what's up. Don't fix what ain't broke. I think I'm going to put 1 drop of tea tree just because I really love it. I didn't talk about it, but I use tea tree oil to save my teeth, and coconut oil pulling, and vitamin C. You really need all 3 in the combination, because I tried the first parts and it was good, but it wasn't until I added vitamin C that I was like, oh, I might actually keep my teeth. If you are from Latin America, if you are from the equator, if you are from a place where you can eat fruits every day, such as fruits that are high in vitamin C, then when you get out of those places and you come here to the northern hemisphere, it's really jarring for the body. And your collagen will unravel if it does not have enough vitamin C, because it needs vitamin C to keep rebuilding itself. That's how much of that song I know. I know some more, but it's in Hindi, and I don't want to sing the words wrong if I don't know them well. Oh, where was I? Oh, yes, the parasites. So, what was it? Another one was, air, pranayama. The other one was pray to the sun god, the angel of sunlight, obviously, so you can get your vitamin D, so you can stay healthy and not rickety, so your body can function as it should. Another thing he said for health, obviously I'm quickly paraphrasing. The other thing he said for health was fasting. So a lot of people are coming to him with, I think it's parasite issues, things like parasite issues, things that are going to weaken their immune system and also affect how they can digest food and how much overall functional, optimal function their body can have. So he tells them to fast for a week, like a water fast or something like that. And at the end, a lot of people are better. I guess they had the kind of parasite or tapeworm or something or another where if they just fasted, it would really put everything back into balance. Maybe it would become dormant. I don't really know. And then from then on, they are probably maintaining that. But there was one person who was still totally sick. And listen to this scientific remedy. I'm like so amazed. I mean, he's such a yogi. He's applying so much information that he knows, and such a healer. The person hasn't eaten in a while. And he said this parasite is so hungry for food that he can put food outside and the parasite will jump out of the body. He used the word demon. The demon will jump out of the body and go towards the food. So he actually took milk and mud and he put it together and he made a slurry, and then he burnt it. And when he burnt it, you could smell the milk fumes in the air. And this person literally had a parasite or something jump out of their mouth. He starts convulsing and whatever. He doesn't, like, what? And then that thing came out of its mouth. And then Jesus kills it twice. He cuts its head off, and he also cuts its tail off. Because obviously, with the head, it can, some way, if you just cut it in half, it'll regrow itself. So you have to cut off You got to cut it into 3 pieces. Now, I think of people who don't understand the translations. Like, we use the word demon because it's a 2,000-year-old word. What are words now? Huddy buddy! Cut it out, please. Shh. Come here. What are some words that we use today that in our lifetime, the meaning of the word has changed? Like the word literally. In our lifetime, the meaning of the word has changed to mean the exact opposite of what it used to mean, for one thing. So don't you think that in 2,000 years, a word like demon could be mistranslated in our psyche over time? Because when we think of a demon, we think of some spiritual thing. That's an entity that is something or another. But he was literally talking about an actual, like, parasite inside somebody's body that literally, you know, that people witnessed. Like, everybody witnessed this thing jump out of this body so that it can, and it went right towards the milk, obviously. It's very hungry, so it's going to go towards the food. It also has not been fed for a week, and it doesn't have muscle and bones and blood like the human, so it can't actually survive that. So, there's a lot of things in the Bible that Jesus said that were very literal because he was talking to the people, but we don't understand that. Like when he's talking about hell and he's like talking about the fact that you would get burned in a garbage pit, he means like you're going to get burned in a garbage pit as opposed to getting like your good funeral rites. You know, those kinds of things. He's talking about literal things that they are going to understand, and the context ends up getting so lost, and then we think they're only talking about spiritual things. But you forget, spiritual things is a noun that means something you can't touch. So, like, you can't touch bacteria. You can't touch germs. You can touch bacteria now because we can grow it on a plate. But you can't touch the bacteria that's, like, inside something, inside of food or something like that by itself. You would be touching just the food. Anyways. So, it seems like the word demon literally can be things that plague you. But things that plague you can literally be lice, bed bugs. You know, back then there was a correlation between these things and the morality of it all, and so it gets conflated to the point that now we're just thinking that they're talking about only the morality of it. But he was also literally talking about literal things, actual things. So I just think it's very fascinating. He's basically telling people how to get healthy. And then he's like, once you're healthy, then you can, you know, preach the word of God. Well, actually, if you follow them, their order, every day you would be worshiping God, because all day, at certain times of the day, 7 times, you would honor the 7 angels of Mother Earth. Sun, air, water, earth. I don't know what the other ones are because I like I said, I learned all this from YouTube. Not all of this. And some of this I learned from yoga teacher training, and some of this I learned from other places. But the part about the Essene Gospel is something that I've just been researching recently. His path to health. It does sound like yoga though, because it's like get in the sun, breathe the air, don't eat the meat, drink the water, meditate on the form, meditate on the names, meditate on the love. Maybe now I do wonder if I have a parasite and need to do a 1-week water fast. Actually, you know, my dog and I got, my dog got anaplasmosis. Maybe not last summer, maybe the summer before. And he lives with me tight. Like, you know, he'll sleep in my bed and I'll hang out with him 24/7. So I could have gotten anaplasmosis as well, which might explain some of my chronic fatigue symptoms. So maybe I will do I'm going to get that book. and see it, because I've been looking for a way to live like a yoga nun, and I didn't know how I could do anything like that, but now I do. So yeah, I had any option in the world to do my hair anywhere, and I was like, I'm gonna do it in the sun. I want to do it next to some favorite plants, and I would love to be able to talk about what my brain is gushing over right now. This is all really important to me because, well, my last name is Santiago, and when I looked into it, he went to Spain to some place called Finestra, fin de tierra, the end of the world, which is like Portugal region. And actually there's a city there called Finestra or something like that, and it is the end of the world city. So even since then, well, it has a Roman name. It's been called the end of the world. And he was told to go there, and he jumped off a boat and started talking about Jesus Christ, walking into Spain, and I guess he's in Galicia, and in Galicia he only got, I guess, he was there for like till 40 AD, it says, and he only got 7 disciples, because Jesus is actually asking those people to basically become Buddhist monks, but of the Essene version, of the Jewish version, and of the Essene Jewish version, and because he's saying, you don't need private property, you don't need anything, God will provide everything you need, all you need to do is follow these steps, which is pray to Mother Earth in the day and pray to the Heavenly Father at night. Now this I found very interesting too, because can you imagine him going into the temple and being like, yo, y'all never pray to Mother Earth, you're literally supposed to start the day praying to Mother Earth, and at night you pray to the Heavenly Father. Can you imagine? He was probably really mad at everything they were doing, because they were really not honoring women. And that was the other thing about the Essene religion, is that women were equal to men, especially when you consider they're praying to Mother Earth in the day, as in the start of the day, as in that sun belongs to Mother Earth, this air belongs to Mother Earth, that water I drink belongs to Mother Earth, and all of that is given to me so I may live. So I do have an idea that St. James went to Spain and taught about Christianity, and that's before the Romans decided to canonize their literature in the way that they were going to. Remember, Jesus isn't like, yo, make sure you write this down. Yo, you got the phone ready? You ready to record this TikTok? It's not like that. People are just like, whoa, this dude was doing this stuff. Wow. So I do believe that St. James and Mary Magdalene, because she goes to the French Cathars, and somehow the French Cathars know who Mary Magdalene is, which doesn't make sense. How can they pray to Mary Magdalene if I think she goes there with St. James? He gets off the boat in Galicia. She probably continues on this. Maybe she continues on to France, or that whole northern part of Spain that's connected to France there, between Galicia there and the northern part. Maybe the story just literally spread. And I think that they taught a different kind of Christianity, the kind that we know, that would have fit perfectly with the Celts who were Roman, probably. The Romanized Celts probably would have enjoyed something with a little bit more equality between their men and their women, and something a bit more nature-based for their worship. Because every time I was in church next to my Catholic family in the Catholic church, I was like, are you guys listening to these words? Like, I'm listening to the same words you guys are, but I'm definitely hearing them differently. I'm like, he just said this, this, and that. And they're like, yeah, that's why we do this. I'm like, but that's the exact opposite. So, from a young age, I was like, I don't think you guys are doing Christianity right. And I was like, well, how would I know that? Maybe if we were Santiago Christians from literally like 2 AD, then we would have something in our heart. We would have Christ's love in our heart that was different than the Roman Catholic version. One last thing. This one's just a joke. But the Essene, as a religious sect who did not hold property, they're like monks, you know. They go out into the world and they get what they need every day, or they go out and they garden and they make what they need and stuff like that. Or that too, or you know, so and so was a carpenter. You can still do that and, you know, be Essene. Oh, I think I lost my train of thought, huh? Oh, the joke. Okay, this is a joke. Some of the Essene practiced brahmachari, meaning that they were celibate. So Jesus is like, I feel like what the whole Virgin Mary joke is a joke that people are making about him being Essene. Like, ha, that's his mom. His mom's probably a virgin because, you know, they're Essene and they don't get they're celibate. So, anyways, she's supposed to have an immaculate conception, which I think could be a play on word. You know, it could be a little dig. If you were not pro-Essene, then you could make a joke about how so-and-so must have been because, you know, they're all practice celibacy anyways. Anyways, imagine being from a sect that practices celibacy and somehow you have an immaculate conception. That's amazing. I think they were so advanced that they maybe just like artificially inseminated her because she saw the light. So I feel like they gave her an orgasm and artificially inseminated her, and then she got a baby. Or they say she walked past the ark and got pregnant, and then they picked someone named Joseph. Imagine if Joseph is like a monk who like definitely is celibate. He's known to be has initiated in all the rites and things like that, and so he would be had taken, maybe he took it that far, right? And maybe that's why they would make the joke like, oh look, he's Essene, he's celibate, so they must she must be a virgin. Anyways, jokes on jokes on jokes, and I don't mean it in any disrespect. I don't mean it in any disrespect at all, because I think that they would be disrespecting on them trying to make a joke about the celibacy that they practice. And therefore, like, oh, see, he must be immaculately conceived. I don't know, I could just see someone making a joke like that, thinking they're clever. It doesn't actually matter how he was conceived because he's going to mention it in a mystical way from his Essene knowledge anyways. They have a different way of seeing all that. Well, that looks much better. I just couldn't stand having those feathers in my hair. And then I was like, well, you could take a shower and then I was going to have wet feathers in my hair. That wasn't going to work either. Pretty warm. I'm just pulling my pants up a little so my whitish yellow legs can get some sun. I'll even put some grease on them. Did you know that shea butter says it has A and D ointment in it, or vitamins A and D, and therefore it is a sunscreen? I think it's so funny that shea butter market is labeled as a sunscreen. I mean, SPF what? I don't care. Because my vitamin D is so low. It's always so low. I have to take vitamin D supplements. So, and I grew up wearing sunscreen all the time. And, you know, staying inside at the hottest part of the day. These are things that were taught to me by my tropical parents so I wouldn't die. But when you do that here, it will make you die. Do you see how weird that is? You can do something in one area and it is great. And then you do the same thing in some other location and now it is the thing that's going to kill you. Isn't that so weird? I don't think people understand how weird good and bad is like that. being good just means you're good for right now, because conditions will change. It's so weird. You keep doing the same thing you were doing, but now something has changed, and doing the same thing is now awful. But it was good before. Well, it's awful now. Circumstances are so weird like that. Did you know that there is a yoga where you give yourself, your muscles, an oil massage? I believe you're supposed to use something like mustard oil because it's like spicy and very warming. I try to embed these things into my practice all the time. You know, the idea is that you would do the oil massages every day after you work out or when you shower, these sorts of things. And they're all embedded so that they could all work together to improve optimal health. Okay, well, it's hot. I'm done. I think I mentioned as much as I knew about the Essene practices. After I get the book and start practicing them, I will show everybody how I do this yoga nun thing. Yoga nun is funny too, because you know, the book Light on Yoga is by Yogananda. So I was like, Yoga nun, Yogananda. I am bliss, absolute bliss, Anandoham. Have a beautiful day, people.